Madhva Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopijana Vallabha
Yashodhana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Radha Kanta Radha Radha Kanta Radhe Jaya Gauranika 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 Jaya Gauranika Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Paramahamsa Parivadakacharya Stotra Shishri ISKCON Samsthapak Acharya Vaichanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantapuri Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. All brothers and devotees, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishraki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandaraya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text number 3. Please repeat it to me. Nidraya kriyate naktam Vyavayena cha vavayaha Diva chate hayarajan Kutumba baranena chakva Nidraya kriyate naktam Vyavayena chavayimayaha Diva chate hayarajan Kutumba varanena va Nidraya hriyate naktam Vyavayena chavavayaha Diva chate hayarajan Kutumba varanena va. Would you like to repeat?
Nidraya kriyate naktam
Nidraya kriyate naktam Vyavayena chavavayaha Diva chate hayarajan Kutumba varanena va. Nidraya kriyate naktam Vyavayena chavavayaha Diva chate hayarajan Kutumba varanena va.
Nidraya kriyate naktam Vyavayena chavavayaha Diva chate hayarajan Kutumba varanena va. Rajan
Kutumba Paranenava
Word to word translation by Sri Venkateshwara Prabhupada. Nidraya, by sleeping. Kriyate, wasteless. Naktam, night. Vyavayena, sex indulgence. Cha, also. Va, either. Vayaha, duration of life. Diva, days. Cha, an. Artha, economic. Thaya, ihaya, development. Rajan, O king. Kutumba, family members. Varanena, maintaining. Va, either. Translation by Sri Venkateshwara Prabhupada. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in daytime either in making money or maintaining family members. Oh, that's it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The present human civilization is primarily based on the principles of sleeping and sex indulgence at night and earning money in the day and spending the same for family maintenance. Such a form of human civilization is condemned by the Bhagavatam school because human life is a combination of matter and spirit soul. The whole process of Vedic knowledge is directed at liberating the spirit soul from the contamination of matter. The knowledge concerning this is called Atma Tattva. Those men who are too materialistic or unaware of this knowledge and are more inclined in economic development for material enjoyment. Such materialistic men are called karmis or fruitive laborers. They are allowed regulated economic development or association of women for sex intelligence. Those who are above the karmis, that is, jnanis, yogis and devotees, are strictly prohibited from sex intelligence. The karmis are more or less devoid of Atma Tattva knowledge, and as such, their life is spent without spiritual profit. The human life is not meant for hard labor for economic development, nor is it meant for sex intelligence like that of hogs and dogs. It is especially meant for making a solution to the problems of material life and the miseries of sex intelligence, miseries thereof. So the karmis base their valuable human life by sleeping and by laboring hard in the daytime to accumulate wealth. And after doing so, they try to improve the standards of materialistic life. The materialistic life is described here in a nutshell, and how foolishly men waste the pool of human life is described as follows. All that's Amajnana-timirandasya jnana-anjana-shalakaya chakshurudmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa katamahyam tadati swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Rupadakamal Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sarvajatam Sagaraganathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sargana Lalitva Vishnakan Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namoste Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm trying to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a very wonderful verse by Shukadev Goswami. I'm personally not very qualified to speak on this verse, but I'll try my best by the blessings and good wishes of the devotees. So here is this verse. Sage Shuka is answering questions by Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit in the last chapter, the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 19th chapter, so he had asked various questions to Shukadeva Goswami. Many questions. One of the questions was, what is the purpose of life for a person who is very close to death? And what kind of activities should be done by him? That was a question that Maharaj Parikshit asked Shukadeva Goswami. So Shukadeva Goswami here is trying to answer the question. So first is trying to answer what are the don'ts, what should not be done in one's life, or what is not a priority in one's life. So the first verse it speaks about how his questions are very beneficial to people in general, and especially the first canto from Srimad Bhagavatam, a lot of questions that are being asked. The first 6 questions are very prominent, and Shuddha Goswami is answering those 6 questions in the first 2 chapters of first canto. And the entire first canto, there are a lot of important questions that are being asked. And the scholars total about 28 in number, 28 important questions. So the last 2 questions, the first canto is asked by Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit, as you know, is the recipient of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he takes the position of the questioner. And Shukadeva Goswami is answering the questions. So Shukadeva Goswami is very qualified. He is the son of Vyasadeva. And he was blessed by Lord Krishna himself that he will not be touched by illusion at any point of time. And he learns Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva personally. And he understands as well as he hears. So it's a very qualified soul. So discussion between 2 great qualified people is very important for all of us because we can learn so much from that. And the questions that Maharaj Parikshit is asking is not very not relevant to us. It is very relevant to us because death can come at any moment. So at least Maharaj Parikshit had a good fortune of knowing his death after he knows 7 days before that his death is going to come. Although he was a great personality himself, being the great grandson of Arjuna and being blessed by Lord Krishna, when he was in the womb of his mother, he has a very great devotee. He can completely disregard the satanic curse and he can completely cancel the effect of the curse. But he did not do so because he took that as an opportunity to surrender himself to the wishes of Lord Krishna. He understood Lord Krishna wants him to be an instrument so that Srimad Bhagavatam can be spoken. So he takes that role. He understands his role is to be an instrument so that Srimad Bhagavatam can come out. So the sage Shukadeva Goswami is wandering all over the world after learning about Srimad Bhagavatam. Self-realized soul is wandering all over the world, and he also understands by divine providence that this main important discussion has to happen, and he comes to the bank of Ganges, in a place called Nrshimha, and he speaks Srimad Bhagavatam, answering all the questions by Parikshit Maharaj. So what does he answer? He says in the second verse that those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing this human society. This is especially sets the basis for this verse. So I will read this verse also. Shrotavya iti Rajendra Nranam Shakti Sahasrashaha Apashitam Apatattvam Viheshu Grihamedina. So it's a very beautiful verse. Rajendra means the king of all kings. Indra means king actually. So Raja is already king. So Parikshit is referred as king of kings because he's not just an ordinary king. He's ruling over the entire world, inheriting it from the Pandavas. So it's a very great king. So not just a king, just a king. He's a pure devotee also. So Shukadeva Goswami want to acknowledge that he's a very Raja Rishi, he's a great sage as well. And he's saying, Shrotavyadini Rajendra. So there are so many things to hear in this world, especially for the materialistic people. There are so many things to speak, so many things to hear. And they take great pleasure in talking about it. So one good example of that is if you are in big cities, especially in India, you have a lot of trees. And there are so many crows that comes in the morning and then they get together, they keep cawing. All the time they make a lot of cawing, especially in the morning and evenings. So, now that is also referred as Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto. So it is referred as pilgrimage for crows. So what does the crows do when they get together in a place like that? They talk different things. They talk how I had a nice, or found a nice garbage where there were a lot of bits and pieces of flesh to come and eat. Or I found so much different places where I could do so many things. So they talk about all the different things, what goes on in the vicinity, and how to enjoy the small bits and pieces, the morsels of the food, and how to cheat and how to do different things. The crows, that's a topic of discussion for the crows. So similarly, materialistic people, what happens? Their subject of discussion is very much focused on these matters. Where do I get this better? How do I make money here? And how can I make money from cheating people? How can I not work and make money? So these are the topics of discussion. So how to enjoy by going to different places, how to do different things to make life more happier. So all those different discussions is a pilgrimage for crows. It's not a pilgrimage for swans. Swans, in opposition to the crows, are regarded as a very highly qualified species. Because the swans, it is said, they drink water only from the rainfall. They don't drink, although they live in the vicinity of great water bodies, but they don't drink water from that water bodies. They wait for the rainfall to come and they drink water from that. So swans are regarded as, compared to great sages, Paramahamsas. So they don't take interest in such subject matter, like the crows. Where do I get this, where do I get that? How to get material happiness here, material happiness there. So that is what subject matter of the Hamsas, pure devotees. So they discuss about the pure and pure activities of the devotees and pure activities of the Supreme Lord. That's what is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is a great, wonderful compilation of the activities of great souls who in very trying circumstances, in very difficult situations, they establish themselves that they are instruments in Krishna's service, and they always remain steadfast in serving the Supreme Lord without any kind of confusion or any kind of second thought. They always remain subservient to the Lord's wishes. So those are such. One of them is Parikshit Maharaj himself. By his own life, he's showing how, in spite of being cursed, he wants to use that in order to serve the Lord. He doesn't become disturbed. So whereas if any common person, let's say, he comes to know that he's going to die in few days. The doctors gives him says if you have cancer or something, you're going to die in a few days. So what does he do? So he makes sure he sees his loved ones. He makes sure his bank balance is properly taken care, or he makes sure his everything is taken care of, whatever he needs to do, and he tries to enjoy those 10 days. So he tries to, if he's in good health and he knows he's going to die in 10 days, he's definitely going to use it to make the best. So go out to the places, casinos, and make money out of it, or try to enjoy, try to drink, try to make merry. So that will be his goal the next 10 days. So but here, Parikshit Maharaj did not do that. He renounced his kingdom. He gave his kingdom to his son. And then he came to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the duty of the great souls. So Srimad Bhagavatam is full of such great descriptions of the life of great devotees of the Lord, apart from the activities of the Supreme Lord himself. So that is the subject matter of Hamsas, pure devotees. So they are not interested in the subject matter of the crows. So here in this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is continuing to condemn the activities of the materialists. The materialists are referred as Griha Medis here. There's a very special word, Griha Medi. So generally we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam about Grihasthas. Grihastha means householder. Householder means one who has taken up the ashrama of a householder. So he is a part of the society which is centered, focused on God realization, self-realization. And he lives in an ashrama. Ashrama means he's taken shelter of the injunction of the Vedic scriptures, taken shelter of the Varnashrama system. Whereas Griha Medis, they don't regard all these different things. They don't have any regard for the Varnashrama system or the scriptures or the injections of the scriptures as spoken by the great sages. So they are interested in the subject matter of the crows. Such people are called Griha Medis. They are very clearly distinguished in Srimad Bhagavatam from the Grihasthas. So Griha Medis, so their interest is all about how to make life more happy. So part of making happy is you cannot just be happy by yourself. So you have to have your surroundings, you have to have your kinsmen, and you get more happiness by, your happiness becomes multiplied if it is shared with your like-minded people, like the family, friends. So you don't have party alone, right? You don't have party by eating and drinking alone. So you have to throw out a party, and you have to invite your friends, invite your family members, and that's how you enjoy the party. In the same way, so the Griha Medis also, they tend to focus on the subject matter of how to enjoy this, make the maximum out of this life. And that is good. Everybody has to look into his well-being. Nothing wrong with it. That is not prohibited in the Vedic scriptures. Vedic scripture doesn't say everyone has to become a recluse or become a sannyasi or you have to go and live in the forest. That's not the injunction here. The injunction is how to go about doing everything that you need to become happy. At the same time, do it according to the injunction of the scriptures, so that helps you in advancing not just materially, but it also helps you advancing spiritually. Because at the end of the day, one has to understand we are not the body. The body comes, takes birth, it grows, and then it becomes dwindles, it becomes old, and then it dies ultimately. So it undergoes the changes. So jayate, parinamate, briyate, then finally parikshiyate. So there are different stages of material body. So material bodies definitely have to go for destruction. It is bound to die. Chayate e dhruvo mrityu. As soon as there is birth, there is death. So there is nobody who can escape death. So we may not know when the death comes. And it's not necessary. The point is not that we should always be worried about death. The point is how we can make the best use of the life that we have in our hand. So we are a spirit soul, and that is what is going to live ever after. After the body goes, the spirit soul is going to continue to live. So that is not going to change. That's the eternal truth. Nobody can change that we are the spirit souls. But the body is a temporary reality. It is not false, as the Mayavadis and impersonalists they claim that the body is false. The body is not false. The world is not false. The world is real. The body is real. Our enjoyments are real, but it is temporary. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Ehi samsparsha jaboga dukkha yone evate adi antavatta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. So a Buddha or an intelligent person, he doesn't take pleasure in just material sense enjoyment. Rather, he knows this material sense enjoyment has a beginning and it has an end. Adi antavatta kaunteya. Has a beginning, it has an end. So that's the nature of a material sense pleasure. So the grihastha or a person who is following the rules and regulations of scriptures, he knows this. He knows his body has a beginning, has an end. And he knows that he is not ready for complete renunciation. He is not ready for becoming a recluse and living in the forest. And he knows that he doesn't have the capacity to meditate upon the Supreme Lord all the time, 24 hours a day. He knows his limitations. So he accepts the Nrshimha or the shelter of the Vedic injunctions. And he follows those rules and regulations as per the laid down by the scriptures and shown by the different acharyas at different points of time. And he is with great focus and attention, he follows those rules and regulations. Getting up early in the morning and doing deity worship, reading from the scriptures, and going about doing his daily duties. And end of the day, taking care of his family, taking care of the well-being of his own body, his own mind, his own physical nature, his own material needs, and also his family's needs. But at the same time, understanding or making them understand, the family also understand, the purpose of human life is self-realization. The purpose of human life is not just enjoying like hogs and dogs. The hogs and dogs are referred here because the hogs especially is a body, a species, which is meant for blind enjoyment. So it doesn't even care what it is eating. It eats anything and everything that you provide to it. It doesn't discriminate what is good, what is bad. And ultimately it suffers also for what it eats. And but even though it is suffering, it still wants to go about its enjoyment. So another example that is given in the Bhagavatam is camel. A camel is an animal which lives in the deserts most of the times. So in the desert you don't get much things to eat for the camel. So what does it eat is the thorny bushes. It goes about taking the thorny bushes and starts chewing. So there are thorns in those bushes. And what does the thorn do? It doesn't just remain quiet, right? So it starts pricking, starts punching holes in the body, the mouth region. The mouth bleeds. And the blood that oozes out of the holes, it mixes with this shrubs, and it gives a new taste for the camel, and it thinks that it's very tasty. It doesn't know that its own blood is actually giving that taste. That is the situation of the Grihamedis. The Grihamedis, here it is translated as envious householders. That's also very significant. So what happens is that animals, when they have enough things to eat, and they have enough time to sleep, so they look for other mates, they look for their own, protecting their own, region, or their, for the lack of the right word, it is their own domain, right? So anything that is, any dog or any other animal that's coming to the domain, it fights off, defends. So that's the nature of the Grihamedis. The Grihamedis are envious householders. So the quest of becoming more and more happy, so they always are not satisfied. Because they always see some people who are more happier than them, who have better, who are more skilled in enjoying their senses, who are more skilled in making best out of the bad bargain. So they are becoming very envious of such people. And the world is full of such people because everybody is, at the end of the day, tries to become the lord of their nature. And somebody, by their good karma, they are able to become better than others. So ultimately what happens is that everybody is envious towards each other. Because of a worker in the factory is envious of the boss. Because he sees the boss, what does he do all the time? He supervises, he gives instructions, and he goes to sit in an air-conditioned office and has a good time. Something. That's what he's thinking, at least, the worker is thinking. So everybody sees somebody who is much better than them in material enjoyment. So what happens is that they're always envious. They're never happy. So the envy is always there. We always keep on looking for better and better. And we forget the real purpose of our life, that we are meant for self-realization. We are meant for purifying our existence and becoming reinstated in our original constitutional position as a devotee of the Lord, as a servant of the Lord in the eternal world, the spiritual world. That's where we come from. That's our original home. So we forget our real destination is back home, back to Godhead. And we are so much engrossed in the material enjoyment, like we have envious householders. So part of being envious householders is the working hard during the day and sleeping in the night and having sex in the night. So that is the part and parcel of the enjoyment. That's the grossest form of enjoyment. And Srila Prabhupada says in many places, the highest sense enjoyment is sex pleasure. That is because we realize that we are the enjoyers and the highest in that kind of a situation. So that's the highest illusion, to think that we are the enjoyers. The real enjoyer is Supreme Lord Krishna, and He is ultimate person who can really enjoy. And we get enjoyment in serving Him. Because that is our nature. And the spirit soul, our nature is to serve Krishna. And by serving Krishna, we get enjoyment. But we do not know that in the conditioned state. In the material state, we are confused and we think that we take the position of the Lord, or Purusha, and then we try to enjoy the material senses. And so what happens is that unknowingly we become more and more implicated into the rules of the laws of material nature. So we become implicated into the action-reaction. So in this act of sex, what happens is that we become more and more implicated. It has a very deep impression in the mind. And the deep impression makes us identify with the body. That we are not the spirit soul, but we are the body. That becomes more prominent. So what happens? We become mad and we become confused and mad. So most of the crimes you see today is, especially in the let's say the age between 20 to 40, is mostly related to this. You kill a boyfriend, ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, or all the different things are happening. The newspaper is filled with all the different things. It's all because of the impression that comes in the mind because of this attachment to the opposite sex. It's so deep and it is so strong that it makes us forget our real identity as spirit soul, and makes us identify us as the body. And it makes us do different things out of our material nature, out of our gunas. We become more and more controlled by material nature, and we become the frontal platform of the animals. So we act animalistically, we envy everybody else who is better than us, and we act in a way which is degrading for our spiritual welfare. So we should be very, very careful identify. So, but the sex is a very great instrument to create, to bring forth a generation of devotees, and who knows the value of life. So it is the scriptures doesn't condemn sex life. The scriptures say sex life should be used for procreation, to bring forth children and train them in good qualities, train them in the Vedic life, make them understand that the purpose of life is to become a devotee of Krishna. So that is the purpose of. So it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that one should not become a father, mother, or a teacher, or a king, or a guru, unless one can deliver their dependence from the cycle of birth and death. So it's a very great and profound statement. So that makes us understand this Vedic lifestyle, especially being a grihastha. One of the big responsibilities is to bring forth children and train them up with the purpose of human life, and train them to make devotees of Krishna and achieve the perfection of life. So that is the purpose of sex life also. It has its own purpose. And it's a very important aspect of Varnashram Dharma to be able to bring forth the next generation of the children who can become great devotees in the future. So we should understand that as take it as a responsibility and use it responsibly to bring forth a society of swans rather than a society of crows who are always bickering for morsels of food. So this is a very beautiful and profound verse. And it's a little straightforward and a little strong for people to digest. But it is very, especially medicines are sometimes very bitter. And that's the way Srimad Bhagavatam is designed. So sometimes it gives in a very nice honey-coated way. Sometimes it gives in a very bitter and strong dosage. So this is a verse like one of such verses which is a very strong dosage verse. And that's meant for our fast cure from the disease of identification of the body. So we have this Bhava Roga, or the disease of identifying ourselves with the body. So sometimes we have to be jolted out of the illusion. So someone who has a strong jolt is required sometimes to strike us out of the illusion. And such verses are very helpful for understanding that what is our real situation, or identifying how fallen we are, and at least gain some inspiration towards at least cultivating a desire towards advancing in spiritual life. So you might be very fallen, you might even transform, but that doesn't mean that we should continue to remain fallen. Right? So spiritual life is all about understanding how fallen we are and taking steps towards emancipation, coming out of it. So it is not like we are damned to burn in the hell for eternity, like some of the religions are proclaiming, that either you go to hellish planets forever and burn in the hellish planets, or you are damned, or you enjoy life in heaven. That's not the proper understanding. The proper understanding is that we can, wherever we are, whatever situation we are, we can take inspiration from souls who are better than us, from devotees who are better than us, and we can make amends to our life, we can make changes to our life, and take small and steady steps towards perfection, becoming pure devotees of Krishna. So it's a very beautiful verse, and I hope we can take it in the proper sense, and it's for sure it's going to create a big revolution in the materialistic people. They want to really get offended by this verse. But this should be understood in the proper sense, that it's meant to help us out of our ignorance and come to the platform of knowledge. So with this brief talk, please forgive me for any offenses, and I'm very utterly unqualified to speak about Srimad Bhagavatam, but try my best to speak to myself so that I understand the purport of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So any comments or any questions, I'll be more than happy to listen to. Anybody has any comments, questions?
I like what you said, how you explain that with the kind of anthropomorphic view on crows and swans, or swans. So it made me wonder about the animal world and how it became that way, that we can look at some as good and then some as less good or evil, that way. And it's like what they use as any kind of literature where they're speaking through animals as a fable. They call that fable. So in the Vedas, does it give us a complete teaching about the animals and how we're supposed to view every particular species, that also leading to how we treat them? Because I understand that here, one of the top 5 purposes is for the better treatment of the cows, to protect them. So the cow obviously is on the high end of being good. So, I want to understand more, because I always, since I was a child, all I do is look at nature and look at all the creatures, and I'm trying to, understand that the humans have to know everything else in this world, that we cohabitate with everything. So do you know if in the the scriptures does it provide that? Is there explanation for every animal being good or bad and how we're supposed to treat them?
Thank you for the nice question. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, Padma Purana mentions about the existence of 8.4 million species of life. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sarva Yoneshu Kaunteya. So he talks about all the species of life are created with a specific combination of the 3 material modes of nature. So we have Sattva-guna, mode of witness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. 3 gunas, which is a predominant forces that is controlling this entire material creation. Controlling our thoughts, controlling our actions, everything in the conditioned state. So these 3 modes, each and every species of life has a different combination of these 3 modes. Some are the mode of ignorance, like the plants or trees. They don't even acknowledge, they don't even know that somebody is coming to harm them. They can't even run away. So all they can do is they can just use sunlight to make food and they can live out of it. So there are other animals who are a little better. So it knows the danger is coming, so it can run away. It knows to make food. So there are different species of life. The Taittiriya Upanishad of the Yajurveda talks about the 5 stages of evolution of species. 5 groups. So Annamaya means they just make food. That's it, finished. Then there is Pranamaya. So they make food and then they know they're better than that. And there is Manomaya. They have a mind and then they use their mind to look for desirable things and non-desirable things. Avoid non-desirable things and look for desirable things. And there is Jnanamaya. So they have intelligence. They learn from their previous experiences. And they know to take a decision what is right, what is wrong. So the highest one is the Vijnanamaya. So they can use their intelligence to seek higher knowledge, to seek spiritual emancipation. So the humans are of the highest, the Vijnanamaya. So who can go beyond the just making food or just catering to the mind's pulls or pushes. It has a higher intelligence to inquire about the higher self. And whereas other animals, they have different capacities according to different species. So the Vedas does describe about the gradation, this gradation, at least Vedas that we have access to. The Vedas is not restricted to what we have access to. It's much bigger than that. So it might even describe about each and every species of life. We do not know. So what it broadly classifies as this 5 types. So yes, when you talk about different species, like plants, they are said to be the most ignorant. And the cow is said to be the highest in the mode of goodness. So that is why the Vedas talk about cow protection. So cow protection is very important because not just it is the animal with the mode of goodness, but it also helps us in spiritual advancement. And Prabhupada mentions again time and again in his purport that the cow's milk is very special. Cow's milk helps in nourishing the finer tissues of the brain, which helps us awaken the spiritual inquiry and question about spiritual life and make advancement. So cow's milk is very potent in that sense of awakening spiritual awakening of the soul. The material condition, we all have forgotten our spiritual identity. So this is very important discussion to understand who we are, what is our goal in life, who is God, who is the demigods, how the things work, material world works. These questions are very important for our spiritual emancipation. So the milk of the cows helps us in doing that. So that's a direct benefit for us. But apart from that, the bulls helps us in agriculture, helps in plowing the fields. If at the time when tractors were not there, so bulls were the force for doing that, doing the agriculture and transportation also. So it was completely what we needed in having a simple living and high thinking. So if you have bulls, if you have cows, that's pretty much sufficient to do agriculture, to get the milk, and making food materials. We need grains, we need milk. That was self-sufficient. And all other animals also have its own role in the ecosystem, in the environment. So the plants make food for us, and it converts the carbon dioxide to oxygen, helps us breathe. So everything has its own place in the ecosystem. So God has created it to be self-sustaining and so that we can live in harmony with the nature. So every species has its own role. But for humans, cows are very special. It helps us to be in our spiritual advancement and meeting our material requirements like food. So that's the reason cows is given a special place. But there are other animals also, like horses and so many other animals which also can be useful for us. Like elephants. In India, they use it for many purposes. So every species has its own place in society. But cows are special. I hope that answers the question. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
Just a comment in reference to a further discussion on Edward's question about the animals. You had mentioned how they're also in different modes of nature. So, and the scripture describes that the soul passing through the mode of goodness into human life, its last birth is a cow or a bull. And those passing through the modes of passion, their last birth is in the kingdom of the apes, chimpanzees, monkeys, gorillas, like that. So, and when we see these creatures, we know what they are from a distance. They're very beautiful, and they may even live amongst us. We don't have much experience in America of monkeys living amongst us, but in India there's quite an experience. And everyone, no one, people may get mad at them, but it's not like people go around shooting and killing them. But at the same time, if you're wearing glasses like Nrshimha Laxmi is wearing, and you're walking around and there's monkeys, it wouldn't be completely shocking if one snuck up on you and came from behind and took your glasses and ran off with it, and then tried to barter with you for some bananas. And then when he gave them back to you, he's defiled your glasses by biting all over them and stuff. So we just understand the species as they are. Just like if we see a lion, they're beautiful from a distance, but you may not want to go up to it and pet it because you're its prey, you're its food. So we have to treat them according to what they are. We may see a bunch of wolves as bad, and we may have to keep them fenced out, and we may have to watch our children, because if the wolf gets in, he may run off with one of our children, or what to speak if we're a sheep herder. And so, we may label them as bad, but they're carnivorous, passionate, and certainly possessed of some dark modes, because they have no realization of the soul and no understanding of the quality of life and the feelings of how others feel. They can only think in terms of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So an animal never accrues bad karma. The soul is just passing through the species of life. They're always ascending upward. But it's the human being that can accrue bad karma, because he's held responsible for his actions. He has the opportunity to fully put an end to this cycle of birth and death. But if a human being turns around and behaves as an animal, then they can again enter back into the soul can enter back into the evolutionary cycle to fulfill those ambitions and desires. But the soul that understands that, wow, this human life is an opportunity to get out of the cycle of birth and death, and acts peacefully and tries to understand the absolute truth, then they can transcend. Whereas the soul who takes this human life and just behaves as a lower creature, then they can get the opportunity to fulfill that again. I think I had mentioned in the class how some of the creatures have much better facility than ourselves when it comes to eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So, a human being that misuses the human life doesn't take it for an opportunity of self-realization, but takes it simply like animals take it, for eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They may again be given that opportunity to eat, sleep, and mate and defend according to a certain species of life that's actually better equipped than a human being. So Prabhupada would often say, man proposes, God disposes. So we have our desire, and it's our desire that puts us where we are. We have our everything is tested at the time of death. And Krishna says, whatever you desire, whatever you remember, then to that state you will attain. So if our desire is to enjoy in a specific way in this world, then the law of nature simply fulfills that desire. Whereas if we've understood and we make our desire more godly, then by the arrangement of providence, then the soul and the human body can take a more godly state of existence.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. You covered you answered, I think, his questions, full set of questions. I didn't answer a little bit about it, but I think he completed it. Thank you very much. And just adding on to Prabhu's point, so the reason why would some animals harm us is only because we have invaded into their ecosystem. So we have cleared forests and we have made houses used for agriculture. For example, the monkeys, why would they come and harm or take things from us? It's because they have no food to eat. So we have harbored, we have taken all the food, that's the natural food. We kept it's available on purchase, but monkeys cannot purchase. So how will they get hold of, eat their natural food? So it has to do something like this to get their food. So we have invaded into their natural habitat, and we have created unbalance in the whole ecosystem. So that's why they come to harm us. So wolves would not even come close to human habitat, naturally speaking. They would be happy finding food in their jungles. But why they would even come to human habitat is because of man's being responsible for affecting their natural habitat. That's precisely the reason why this would always think would happen. Is there any more comments, any questions? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Nrshimha Bhagavatam ki jai.
Sorry, Prabhu, we forgot to offer your garlands today.
Hi.
Can you please do that before we forget?
Please, yeah.
Please, because it's due. To you.
All of our camera people have left, so the camera just keeps running. None of us know how to turn it off, ever than unplugging it.
It's so easy.
You know? I hate to just unplug it. There must be I guess you just turn the power switch off.
He usually comes back.
Hold on.